Dan, check it out.
Is that a box full of bees? I am not going through that again.
I got a ventriloquist dummy.
Honestly, dude, that just may be worse. Why did you get a dummy?
Who you calling dummy? You see's here. I'm the host of this podcast now.
Whoa, Jake, that's a real talent. You picked that up so fast.
That was not me.
It was me. They calls me Scarface. Now you boys better fall in line and get one of those hands right up my keister so we can start making moves.
Jake, where did you get this thing?
eBay? Pretty cheap, too. Now that it's open and stuff, this is definitely the Scarface that the ventriloquist villain uses, isn't it?
Yeah, bud. It is. You want to toss it in the fire?
Hey, wait a minute here, boys. We can work this out. I can make you rich.
Yeah. I'll eat it into the fireplace.
See, we can beat villains, too.
Hi, welcome to Super Sons. I'm Jake, and together with my brother Dan, we help you get into the DC universe. How you doing today, Dan?
I'm actually fantastic. The sun is shining. I'm wearing my Negative Man sunglasses.
Squirtle Squad glasses.
And I'm drinking out of my Birds of Prey water bottle. So I am DC'd up, and I am ready to go. How are you?
I'm alright. It's a nice Sunday afternoon.
And today we are talking about the Secret Six, specifically the New 52 run. The Secret Six started in 1968 from DC. E. Nelson Bridwell and Frank Springer created them, but that version has absolutely no bearing on the story. This actually lines up more with Gail Simone's reboot version from the 2005's Villains United during Infinite Crisis. And this story is a reboot of that version, also by Simone. So, it's just another iteration of the team. I think the only reoccurring member from Gail's last one is Catman on the main team.
No, Black Alice.
Black Alice? Oh, yeah. All right, so, Jake, what characters make up the Six?
So, we have their leader, Catman, also known as Thomas Blake, a bounty hunter and semi-former criminal who started off his comic book existence as a evil Batman, only to become a joke, who turns his life around after spending some time with a pride of lions in Africa. He can also cook eggs. So, and then we have Big Shot, aka Damon Wells, whose powers are seemingly the ability to expand. He has one of the biggest secrets of the Six, which is a real stretch.
Then we've got Strix, aka Mary Turner, who is a former Talon, which is an assassin for the Court of Owls. The Court of Owls are a underground yuppie Gothamite trash bird fanatic group. She is unable to speak and is quite disfigured from being hurt as a child by a World War II Japanese balloon bomb. Jake tells me is a real thing, but they are very unsuccessful. So she actually doesn't speak. She just writes notes. She doesn't have great spelling because the Court of Owls didn't allow her to kind of have her own life. If you don't know much about the Court of Owls, most of them are immortal, and that is why Strix has been around for so long. Then we have Porcelain, aka Canny or Kevin.
Would it be Canny or Connie?
I mean, it's probably Connie. I
Yeah,
don't think I've ever
Connie.
seen this. All right, let's go with Connie. Connie or Kevin is a thief with the power to make solid objects brittle so that they can hit them with a hammer and smash them. Porcelain is also gender fluid, which does come up in the story.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Black Alice, aka Lori Zelchlin, who is a magic-stealing goth teenager, which is what we all strive to be. She takes the abilities of other magic beings like Black Orchid and Phantom Stranger, but she has no real control over what power she yoinks.
You had steals. I wrote yoinks.
I know. That's what I was expecting. I think you were expecting me to trip up on that.
Yeah, I was. I love that word, yoinks. Yoink.
Yikes. Then we have the Ventriloquist and is it Ferdy or Freedy?
I want to say Ferdy.
Ferdy? And
I'm too
ventriloquist
delicious for you, babe.
is Shauna Belzer, who wants just to be famous like her family members, but due to the jealousy, she becomes a killer, with her first kill being her twin brother, Ferdy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense that she killed her brother.
Yeah, and then named a goddamn puppet after him. Yeah, so Ferdy is now her puppet accomplice, and Ferdy is a puppet who is animated by telekinesis and voice manipulation.
So the ventriloquist, most people know from actually the Batman of the animated series. I can't remember.
Sacco.
What's the original? Is that what's his name?
Scarface.
I know the doll's name, but what's the man's name?
Sad Sack McGee?
Doesn't he turn out to be the bad guy? Whatever. But so
Sacco.
this is just the new 52 version of ventriloquist, which is actually much more enjoyable. So the story we're covering today is Secret Six: Friends in Low Places. I got friends here. Hi, welcome to the Garth Brooks. You don't like Garth Brooks?
I don't listen to much Garth Brooks, Dan.
I enjoy Garth Brooks. Fun fact about Garth Brooks is that his music isn't on Spotify, so I can never listen to it. So if I want to listen to it, I have to listen to the crappy versions on what's that thing? YouTube. Sorry, I don't actually really love Garth Brooks. Just like sometimes I want to listen to that song. So the creative team on this book is writer Gail Simone, pencils by Ken Lashley and Dale Inglesmith, inker Lashley again, Drew Garcia, and then Eaglesham again. Colors by Jason Wright, letters by Carlos M. Mangoa and Travis Landman.
All right.
Carlos is a great guy.
Here's the pitch. Secret Six follows 6 misfits of the DC universe who all meet while trapped in a metal coffin at the bottom of the sea. All of which were brought together by one mysterious foe, Mockingbird. Each of them has their secret of why they are put in there. Once they escape their watery sarcophagus, they take the next logical step. They move to the suburbs. Damon Wells, who someone with a heroic secret, allows them to stay in his home while they figure out who has it out for them. Each of them has their own struggles settling into civilian life, especially with all of their antics trapped in one house. They're faced with familiar faces who are sent to handle them by Mockingbird, but they're just as much of under his thumb as the 6. Black Alice and Damon quickly bond, Damon wanting to make sure she's taken care of. Damon reveals that his secret, that he has been hidden from the whole team, as he lost his wife. Among them is a turncoat, who has been working for Mockingbird all along. The Secret Six face off against the person who brought them together in an explosive finale to the 6-issue arc.
Yeah, I think that this is out loud, but I think that summary is a lot better without any spoilers. Like how we used to do summaries. That actually is great. I like that. Hopefully people listening like that too. So,
let us know.
Some of the themes in this story deal with found family, unjust imprisonment, LGBTQ plus themes, identity, and empathy. And if people who may like this story usually would enjoy a good mystery, some slice of life stuff dealing with settling into a home and learning to care about the people around you, oddball teams, and, big gay vibes.
Yeah. So there's a reason why I chose this story compared to the other one, because the other Gail Simone Secret Six starts in the middle of an event which had a lot of steam going towards it, and that was Infinite Crisis, which is a lot. So this is a lot more accessible. Mm-hmm. And where to get it? You can read it on DC Universe, and the trades are on Amazon or at your local book or comic shop. But if you can't find it anywhere, ask our comic shop, Third Eye Comics, who has a website, thirdeyecomics.com, and multiple locations. And they're great.
And we're not paid by them at all. I probably should ask Steve, it's okay if we plug his store every episode?
I will never not plug his show.
His store?
The Third Eye Show. I mean, they kind of do. They kind of do a show.
They do the live...
Yeah, they do their live stuff on Facebook.
every episode we're going to talk about Third Eye Comics for 5 minutes.
Yes.
I just want all this. I just want the world to get better so I can go back to Third Eye because I don't.
I mean, a lot of people are
leave my
pretending like the world is just better and that there's still no pandemic going on.
Yep, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So,
wear a mask, everybody.
what was I going to say?
Masks are cool.
Okay, so now is the part where we are going to start talking about the comic with spoilers. So if you do want to read this book, I suggest checking it out now before you get to this bit of the episode.
And the whole run is only 14 issues, everybody. It's not a long one. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good. I was trying to think of what song I want to sing between the parts so they know where to cut. I've got a classic one for you.
Oh no.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, even in TV. Miss your old familiar friends, but they're just waiting around the bend. Everywhere you look. I actually don't remember the rest of the lyrics of the Full House theme song right now. Normally when I'm singing them, they just come to me as if like they're ingrained and tattooed onto my body, but as I'm speaking, I'm thinking about them.
You got it, dude.
So let's talk about this comic. I actually just want to start off by saying I was not ready to have so much to talk about. I was like, okay, I've got a couple notes. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, wow, I've got a lot to say because this was awesome. Like I love the original series. Have we told our Gail Simone story where I was so sad we were standing in New York Comic Con, Jake and I are standing together, and there's this big line in front of me, and I thought it was for Gail Simone, and I just really wanted to tell her thank you because I really loved Ragdoll. And we're standing there, and it's like this huge line, and there's someone holding the sign that says, "This is the end." And I was like, oh, I was like, damn, like I really was looking forward to getting to meet Gail. And I'm talking to Jake about this, and we look to our left.
No, she said something to us.
Yeah, so
she was on our right.
Standing there.
She was right to our right.
Yeah, so she says, "Hey, that's not a line for me. I'm right here." And I turned, and it was Gail Simone. We got to talk to her for a bit. She is absolutely 100% a delight.
Yeah. Was that the same year we met Grant Morrison on the floor, and no one was talking to him? He was just walking around with his wife?
It was just us talking to Grant Morrison in front of a bunch of statues.
Oh, yeah, it was in front of a bunch of statues.
Mm-hmm. That's the same night we saw Ben Folds. So it turns out that Ben Folds was like a press-only show or something like that. It was
the I mean, this was back when New York Comic Con, the Thursday was a special day for mainly press, and if you got a ticket early enough.
Yeah. We were always press.
We were always press.
They knew. They were like, they're going to make the best DC podcast.
I was a high schooler, and I had the best takes on all comics. You guys know from listening to the show. Got the best takes. No garbage takes here.
So, the first thing you've got is Unjust Imprisonment, but I actually wanted to talk about the New 52 for a second. This was closer to DCU, wasn't it? This was like the tail.
Oh, yeah, yes, it was.
This is like the tail end of New 52, wasn't it?
I guess so, because, I mean, all the ads were for DCU. And then I didn't remember the fact that, in the lead into Convergence, because that's part of what this was, that's the Superman, the original, the New Earth Superman, when he wore the black suit, that the suit was originally going to be red.
John's dad? Yeah,
John's dad.
That's the only thing we need to care about him for. He's John's dad.
Yeah, he's John's dad.
Okay, so let's get on with the note. Like, what notes you wrote. Sorry to get off topic. Oh my god, let's cover Convergence one day. That sounds like a bad time.
I actually liked Convergence.
Yeah, you're the biggest Telos stan out there.
Well, I also like Dick Grayson as Batman.
Yeah, R.I.P.
He didn't die.
No. He became Rick.
No. This one became Oracle.
Really? All right.
You read
Sorry.
Society.
Off topic. Let's What a time in DC Comics.
Yeah, so unjust imprisonment. So Catman is held prisoner by if you didn't want to know who Mockingbird was, you're going to know now. It's the Riddler. And he's held him for an entire year just to break him down. And it would have just completely destroyed Thomas if it hadn't been for Scandal bringing him a kitten. And that's the only thing that saved his sanity, but not with a ton of trauma. Not without a ton of trauma.
Yeah, it's such a weird part of the story that, like, does it get picked up later in the series at all? Or it's just like, yeah, Catman was thrown into a cell by Riddler for a year.
Yeah, this is the only part of the story that I was confused by. And I've read this like 3 times. And I'm just starting to be like, oh, this isn't like like the second time I read it, I thought it was like, oh, they keep moving in between them. Maybe that's why like they were all there for a year, but they kept on moving him in and out. But no, it's just was like the lead up or like a different time in his life. Like he got picked up beforehand and then came out and then got thrown back in.
Yeah, it was real weird.
Because, Catman was under Riddler's employ for the thing that kicked everything off, which was stealing a diamond.
Oh, yeah. I just hate Riddler so much, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, we have a note about that.
So, something Gail actually does in most of her work is deal with sexuality and gender. So I was, before the podcast, I was talking to Jake. I didn't realize that Catman is often thought as bisexual.
Yeah, well, that was something that was proposed by Gail, but during her original run on Secret Six, she never really got to touch on.
Mm-hmm. And in the beginning of this, he's flirting with 2 people, which is like I'd much rather have that and have characters be different.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten
not different.
That's
normal.
Pretty much the only indication we have that he's bisexual. Every other relationship he's been in, and I guess I don't know how canon this is anymore. So he hasn't
really shown up after this, has he? Like only like bits and pieces.
I think the only time that I can think of is of Thomas was in recently for the Justice Doom War with the Legion of Doom symbol in the sky.
Yeah.
You can see him with his lions, but he's in his old costume and not the costume that he wears in this.
Yeah, we'll talk about the costumes. And then Porcelain is actually gender fluid, which is incredible. When I was reading this, the part that you wrote a note about specifically, when Connie shows up as Kevin for the first time, Big Shot says, "Oh, that ain't right." And I'm sitting there because it's on the next page. I'm like, "Oh no, please don't let this be bad." Like I was so ready for this to like
I
put
said
this book down.
I thought the same thing, and I've read it before.
But then he just takes a hat out of his van because he was like, I just think you needed a good hat to go with your outfit to make you look neat, like make you look cool. Like I was like, wow, that was a very scary moment for me, but I am very happy that Gail is great.
I remember the first time that I read this, and that was when it first came out when I was in high school, and I was kind of confused because physically, there was like a physical difference between Connie and Kevin. So I was like, like it doesn't look like they were purposely drawn as the same person, which confused me. Yeah,
but it's just like Gail has all of these. She's always been in a lot of her work, which is awesome because it's just showing that this is absolutely normal and this isn't like a big deal.
Yeah, no one actually
most
cares.
Comics don't. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, and then Scandal, who's still a lesbian, of course, is in a polyamorous relationship, which we find out later. And then she asks Thomas to become a donor for them to have a kid. So, like, there's all of these great themes and stuff going on, but it's not like they're just doing it because that's how the world is. Like, and that I really like that this is how this series goes. Like, it's just this is normal, nothing weird about it. And I'm a real big fan of that because representation matters. So having people see people like them in comics is rad. I wanted to say the F word, but I refrained from doing that because this is a family-friendly Christian podcast.
Yes, Dan, a family-friendly Christian podcast. That's what we are. Big old. I always eat a big old bucket of Christianity every morning.
I think actually there's a note later that says sprinkle of horny, so we'll get down there. Let's talk about
found family. So, I mean, it's clearly depicted that they're all outsiders and minus.
Oh, do you want to reveal who Damon is?
Oh, so Damon's actually Ralph Dibny, the elongated man. He's just doing it to the undercover. But he also doesn't change back right away until the end of the series. And then he proclaimed to Sue, who's being mind controlled by, brainwashed by Riddler.
Little piss baby.
Yeah, fuck Riddler. There was me.
We're at 20 minutes. I'll get Mike to remove it.
We'll have to cover it with a Shazam.
Okay.
But yeah, no. He also doesn't change back into Ralph when he's trying to explain that it's him.
Yeah, does he stay like this to the end of the series?
No, he during their final mission he becomes elongated man again, and he's got his bright orange costume. Which is my favorite costume.
So before we get into the fan family, there is a quote that I grabbed, and I'm just going to read I'm going to read most of this page just because I think it is superb writing, and I really love the interaction of these two characters. So it's Catman and Ralph talking, and Catman says, "You didn't have to do this. Like he didn't have to take them in. We're not your responsibility, but you did it anyway." And Damon says, "Not responsibility, duty. You guys are my duty." And Catman's like, "What's the difference?" He says, "Responsibility is a weight you carry, good or bad. It's on your shoulders. Duty fills you up, makes you proud, you know? Every occupation used to have a code, used to make you feel like you were important, I guess. Duty means you take the bullet if called upon, and you smile when your turn comes because it's right." And he didn't have any kids or anything, or no real family after his wife, quote unquote, vanished. So he's taking these people as his family. And I think that duty thing is super important because all of these people they all have their own issues. Like everyone's got a lot going on, and him being the quote unquote most normal one, he's like, "I'm not doing this because I feel responsible for you. I'm doing this because I care about you. Like you're my family, you're my people. We found each other under weird circumstances, and it's my duty to make sure we all make it through this together." And it comes into question later because he does end up seeing Sue again, and he turns on the team, which sucks, but he loves Sue. And Sue and Ralph are notoriously some of the most in-love characters in the DC universe. But then the team doesn't turn on him after that. They fight him because they have to, because
they're actively just trying to help him. Come to terms.
They don't hate him because of it. They're like, "Hey, you did what you had to do because the person you loved." That's just it.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a
they understand what he did, what he had to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that so much because they're all very odd. They are a cast of characters. They are a motley crew, but they're all so weird that they just fit together, and living in the suburbs together just makes sense.
That's my. I love this suburbs thing, especially how weird it gets. So, in the story, there is corrupt cops because it's Gotham, and
it's Earth.
Well, yes, it's Earth, but in the DC universe,
yeah,
Gotham. So they're the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Well, second worst of the worst. First being Bloodhaven.
So,
or Hub City.
Catman socks a cop. He literally says, "Fuck the police."
Yeah.
Because I did it again.
That's fine.
Yeah. I think that one matters, so we're not taking out that fuck.
No Shazam on that. Yeah, so the cop was abusing his dog, and Catman, he's so into his cat motif, he doesn't like dogs, but he's like, "Oh no, if you hit this dog again, I'm going to come after you."
And he does.
Yeah.
He takes him down, and then it turns out Damon has a file on all the corrupt cops. He's like, "Do something about it. I'll turn you all in."
Yeah, and then he takes care of the dog for the rest of the series. He also
Yeah, the
gets
dog.
he also gets a pet goat with a fly head.
They are a motley crew, I'm telling you.
But I love how when Perp is told to kill Catman, he just goes on his belly once belly rubs.
Yeah. And he's in Perp. Like, what a bad he's a bad
What a
bad
cop thing
character.
to do.
And I am so glad Catman beats him up. But the next thing is something that Jake,
They also beat up his son, which is great.
who's also a scumbag,
Yeah.
who like is catcalling people as they walk by, so they kick the shit out of him. The next bit is actually something that Jake.
The topic of catcalling. I mean, I just added a note on this because this is the designs of characters. People keep commenting on Catman's appearance, and he's not comfortable with it.
Yeah,
Especially when Ragdoll is like being real weird, little too aggressive towards him. He's like, please stop. And then it's when Black Alice says something to him. He's like, stop.
I like that too. Like, I get it's kind of fun to like make comments about characters like Dick Grayson gets it a lot, but sometimes it's kind of dehumanizing to treat people like that. And it's interesting that they deal with that in the stories.
I mean, I've had it done to me before in a workplace from an older woman, and it made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. But moving on to the designs of characters, and this is something that Jake talks about a lot. Like, he's got a lot of thoughts and feelings on all designs of characters and their progress. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you take the lead on this, and then I'll just comment with my thoughts.
Yeah, so Catman gets a new look in this instead of his yellow and brown / orange Batman look. He's got a lion-inspired crab mask, and for anyone who doesn't know what a crab mask is, think about Kyle Rayner's like metal mask. So it goes right over the nose, but it ends at the lip. And it's like yellowish orange leather with like brown padding and like brown like gauntlets.
We'll post pictures of it on our social media as well. We're going to be getting better about that. I've got a million screenshots of this issue.
Yeah, same. And he's got a black t-shirt underneath with his scratch mark logo. He also
Did you just make a noise? Did you just make a scratch noise like a whoosh?
No, I just said scratch. I did make a gesture of a scratch with the 3 claws.
Oh, I thought you made the noise like scratch.
But no. So, and he also has brown like chinos and a yellow t-shirt with the same claw marks. And it really just fits, his branding and, with that whole Batman idea of everything is branded bats. He's got everything that's branded cats.
Yeah, I like, it's kind of like you wrote, it's like a bounty hunter type thing, but it's just this like really cool leather jacket and mask combo with the t-shirt, which looks really good because they're suburban heroes right now. They're not big city slickers. But they're just...
He's also got a yellow and brown tracksuit with it too.
Oh, that's incredible.
And then he gets attacked by Batgirl while he's walking his dog and goat.
So I like this a lot because it grows him out of that Batman clone thing that he had in the Secret Six. He was dealing with that in his identity in the Secret Six series of he's not Batman. He's actually sometimes better than Batman. But giving him his own unique costume, it's a fierce look. Like, I really like this look. And I wish they kept it.
I especially like the way that they changed out his claws, which were really just like those like hand blades, and now he has actual claws in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this look.
Yeah, I think it's really great. I think there's probably a cool way to combine the two, because I like the fact that he's Catman, but his mask is inspired by lions, which is more closely related to his experience after Gail Simone gets a hold of him.
So let me talk about the Big Shot. Big Shot is he's a big New Yorker looking kind of old school noir detective look. He's got the cool slick back black hair. He's got this like strong jaw with like a strong chin. He wears the typical suit and like fedora type look. He makes it look cool. He looks extremely out of place for whatever year this is set, but it's great. He also doesn't have his standard colorful superhero look where he has red hair, but he does get it back in the series.
And we already mentioned this.
Yeah. And then he gets an updated look, which you see in Event Leviathan. But yeah, I love I'm a big noir fan. Like, I love that style and
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love that style, but the people that want to bring it back are also just like over the top and kind of creepy.
Yeah, but then you got Ventriloquist.
Oh god, she's so uncomfortable.
She is one of my favorite parts of the story, but her look is like a torn kind of dress, and like at one point I think she's wearing a cat over her shoulders.
Yeah, no, it's she's. You ever seen those things where a person's been in the attic their entire life and they've never been allowed out?
She's got horror movie vibes.
Yeah.
What is Samara? What's the character's name? And you won't know. I know you won't know, but in The Ring, that character, what she's wearing kind of has ventriloquist vibes.
But she's also like, her dress is always high society.
Yeah, she's like old Hollywood looks.
Yeah.
But just not, it looks like she's worn that same outfit since old Hollywood. Like, it's just deteriorated.
Yeah, I mean, her family is like really like rich. Like, her father was a pianist and her mom was a ballerina and her brother was a child star. And then Ferdy's got like this creepy look. He's like a normal puppet because he's got drills on his hand. Yeah. But he's got like Saw vibes.
You know who it's got Jigsaw vibes and Slappy the Dummy from Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we have any Goosebumps stands out there, but he's kind of got Slappy vibes, but a lot hornier.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He is a... There's one line from him specifically. I took a screenshot of it. So there's a big sign that says, "World's finest putt-putt golf, 52 challenging holes, fun for the whole family." And Kevin says to him, "What's wrong, Ferdy? Not your game?" And he said, "It ain't that. It's just, I don't know what to make a sex joke about first." And his eyes popping out of his head. Like, I find that humor funny. Like, I don't mind that humor, which is Gail's special. Like, she's very good at making it not like teenage gym class.
The problem is people who direct it towards people.
Yeah. We'll talk about Gail's style of writing a little bit later. And then Porcelain has a few looks throughout the series, and each is kind of over the top. Like,
it's very showy.
Yeah, like Porcelain, when they're in their hero form, has like their villain, I don't know, in their vigilante, whatever you want to say they are.
Anti-hero.
Yeah, has like a
criminal.
kind of very white, bright outfit with like a top hat and like a pink mask.
Touch of Vegas.
Yeah, I love it.
It's
this
great.
Whole team does not match at all, and they're all fantastic. Because you got like noir, you've got like Vegas, you got old Hollywood, you've got superhero, and then you got Black Alice,
who is just goth, but her powers are change her appearance. Like, so if she has the powers of Phantom Stranger, she looks like Phantom Stranger.
Judas.
Yeah.
We never got to do our Phantom Stranger episode. We will one day, but it's so weird to me that there is a character in the DCU who is literally Judas from the Jesus story.
Well, I mean,
and he's
there's
out
like
there.
so many different stories of who he is, but
canonically now he is Judas because it was in Wonder Woman 2 weeks ago.
Oh, was it? I mean, that was also the
Judas.
take for New 52, where question was, I think I heard something about Alexander the Great.
What a weird time for what was it, the Trinity of Sin?
Yes, but he also wore a brown suit with an orange shirt, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, not great looks for him. But yeah, Black Alice looks... I have some notes about Black Alice for later, but like she dons one of the costume of one of my favorite kind of outskirt look heroes. But then you got Strix. Strix retains some of her Talon look, but with a bit more metal to it. And it's interesting because is this pre Birds of Prey or is this after Birds of Prey?
I think it's after.
Really?
Birds of Prey started with the launch of the New 52.
When was she in the Birds of Prey?
Right after the Night of Owls event.
Really? Okay, yeah.
That's where Batgirl meets her.
Okay. But yeah, I love her look. I love the... I don't like the Court of Owls that much. I think they're kind of... It would have been great as a one-off.
I want to know where Calvin is.
Yeah. Was his series literally just called Talon?
Yeah.
But, so, Strix is all... Like, the look of the owls is really cool. Like, especially the Talons, the assassins.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like her look where she's kind of bandaged up and, like, always hiding in the trees. But...
She's an owl. What are you talking about?
You wrote... Who? I get it now. She was up in the trees because she's an owl and she watches over them. Huh. Wow, that's a... Yep. So now that clicked and I won't be able to unsee that.
You won't be able to unassociate that.
I hate the Riddler.
Yeah, no,
I'll be honest,
this note really just says, why is there no agreed upon take of the Riddler? Like, he's the most inconsistent character I've ever seen.
I don't like him at all.
Honestly,
his power is being annoying.
It would make more sense if there was 3 Riddlers and not 3 Jokers.
Yeah, that would actually be cool. But, like, I don't know. I can't think of an iconic Riddler story that I can pull off the top of my head.
There's an issue of the question where they go head to head, but it's just it shows Riddler as a sad sack.
Well, that's what he is.
Yeah.
And now he's got mutton chops, and I just want to beat him up. Especially in the Arkham game. Maybe that's why I hate him so much, is because of the Arkham games. Oh, yeah. I am not a collector in video games. I don't go around and collect all the little knickknacks.
I only ever finished one game where I got everything from it.
Barbie Horse Adventures for the PS2.
Yes, Barbie Horse Adventures. No, I did. I only 100%ed Arkham Asylum. But there was there was 100 Riddler trophies, and that was it. Not like 300. That's too much.
If you get them all in Arkham Knight, you can punch Riddler until you're done. Like, you can keep hitting him until you are satisfied.
And that's also the only way to get the actual ending.
Oh, yeah. So, my notes about Strix. Bullet point 1, I love her. Bullet point 2, there is a panel in this series where she's standing with Catman in the kitchen, and he says to her, "Hey, can you go make the table?" And she starts writing a note that says, "I don't know how." And he's like, "Oh, well, I mean, maybe they didn't teach you that in the Court of Owls. Damon can help you. Like, you'll be fine." And then she finishes the note and it says, "I don't know how to home."
Well, he says, "Just make yourself at home."
Yeah. So she doesn't understand family or any of that kind of stuff because she was treated. So the Talons are like frozen between their assassins attempts. So like they don't get a life. They just are used as weapons. So she doesn't know how to have a family or be normal. Yeah. She doesn't get
the Talons.
She's never gotten that.
Are a bit of a curious case because I mean, Dick Grayson's grandfather's one, and he actively like tries to recruit him at every possible turn that he can. Even though, like, there's no way he knew him.
Yeah, it
was his great-grandfather.
It's just really sad, because she's like, "I don't know how to home," and Catman hugs her. So it's like...
Well, he also says, "I don't know how."
Yeah, so all of them don't understand, like, this whole family dynamic or anything like that, but they're learning together, and it's just rough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
When they get to the house, she picks up one of the garden gnomes and takes it with a big heart above her head. So that's hers. Like, he keeps popping up through the series, but that's her baby. Like, she just carries him around. And I love that.
And I think it was Catman was like, "All right."
They're just, yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever. Fine. She's one of the best characters.
At one point, there's three characters come to attack the house, and it's Vandal Savage, Ragdoll, and
Scandal.
What did I say? Vandal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very different character. Very different. Scandal, Savage, and who is the third one? With the white hair? Jeanette. So they come to attack the house, and everyone is fighting, but they actually brought, what were they? Pecan
Sandies.
pecan sandies, and everyone is starting to fight, but Strix is just standing there with
pecans
like
or pecans, Dan? Pecans or pecans?
I'm not getting into that debate.
Yes,
and
you
her
are.
Her mask is half open and she's eating them while everyone else is fighting. And when she finally gets into the fight, she holds up a note to Catman and says, "Sorry, I was having a cookie." And she spells cookie Kooky.
But this is after he was like wrestling with Ragdoll, who's just being completely uncomfortable because that's the only way you can describe Ragdoll.
Yeah.
He's uncomfortable, and she spells it Kooky like kooky, and he says, "Yeah, so will I guess."
There's one specific line that Ragdoll says, something along the lines of, I was trying to figure out the intricate channels of the universe and what it would be like to fuck a butterfly. And it's like, what? And that was in the first Secret Six series, and Ragdoll is just
Well,
wild.
he didn't become like that until after the death of Parademon.
Who?
The Parademon. Have you not read
I don't think I read the... No, I don't think I read the Villain United. I think I just started with Secret
before
Six.
Bane, their teammate was a Parademon, and he wore like a B3 bomber jacket,
Huh. I'm going to have to go back and
and
read
they
that.
were like really close. And then like Ragdoll wasn't as uncomfortable; he was just more like evil.
Yeah, I like the uncomfortable Ragdoll. He makes me smile.
Well, he kind of becomes uncomfortable because of the death of Parademon.
All right, I'm going to have to go read that. Ventriloquist. Is the doll alive? Because
From
at
what
one point,
I can tell, no. Because the internet told me that it's a combination of ventriloquism, like standard ventriloquism, and telekinesis. She
at one
probably
point,
is.
she's knocked out,
She's
and-
Well, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. That's the thing
Yeah.
about all characters named ventriloquist.
Yep, you just don't know. And I like that kind of in between. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it really depends on the writer, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I think this has only been tackled by Gale.
I did write a note about Black Alice's powers and how she shows 3 different characters in the beginning. In these 6 issues, she shows the demon Etrigan, which she has a different name for. Oh, she uses Zatanna's powers too. And then Hawk from Hawk and Dove. But then she uses Black Orchid in the end. I love Black Orchid.
Okay, so you didn't remember her in the other Secret Six, but I remember specifically when she becomes Phantom
It's
Stranger.
also been years since I've read that.
Yeah, I mean, I've read that recently.
Yeah, I haven't read it since probably before the New 52.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our time, in
her traits,
real life.
in traits.
Yeah. So, I love Black Orchid and I love her look. So anytime it pops up, I'm just so excited. Let's talk about. This is a real. You wrote this line.
Super Suburbia and attempts at a pedestrian lifestyle.
I wrote a specific note because once they first move in, Ralph has to talk to everyone in the house about weird sex stuff on the couch.
Because they
he's
all
like,
had an orgy, and it was on the cover. It was on the cover.
awesome.
I think it's the next thing, but so I'll come back to this. But the covers. Oof. So then the other thing you wrote was cooking and shopping at the egg store.
Yeah, so they don't understand what grocery stores are because none of them have ever had to go there. So they're like, is there just like a specific store that sells eggs? Is there an egg store?
Yeah, I don't know why porcelain has never gone. Like the other ones, like Ralph has definitely gone to the store. Alice has definitely gone to the store. I mean, I don't know what Tommy's thing was in this universe. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's in most universes, he's like a rich guy that became like a big game hunter. And
yeah, but I like the idea that all of them are kind of like, we don't know how to cook anything, so someone's gonna have to figure this out. So all of them just have eggs. That's it. Just a bunch of eggs.
That's the only thing that Thomas knows how to play.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so that Teen Titans Go variant cover and the covers in general. So all of them highlight that suburbia pedestrian life. And like outlandish things that would happen when they would go to them. So, like sex on the couch. Not sex on the couch, orgy on the couch. And one of the issues is they're at the one of the covers is like they're at the beach and there's a shark attack on the beach.
Yeah, it is. I love the Teen Titans Go cover. I love Teen Titans Go. I had last weekend they were doing a marathon because they were doing a what is the name of that? What is it? The Night Comes or something like that. They did a sequel.
The Nightman Cometh?
No, it's I can't remember what it is. The night begins to shine. Yep, that's it. The Night Begins to Shines too. The first one has Fall Out Boy and CeeLo Green, which I didn't realize. Teen Titans Go does a better musical like episode themed thing than DC Comics can, like the actual DC Comics. That's not shade, it's just fact. Like they did a better musical a better metal episode than anyone else. Because like it looks like the metal movie from the 80s or whatever that is. I also don't know all that stuff about it, but it's just like the way they connect music to the themes of the show and like it's Teen Titans Go is fantastic.
It's a lot smarter than anyone gives it credit for.
No one gives it credit. It's so funny and it's so smart. Like they do a pyramid scheme episode that one of my friends said taught his children about MLMs, which is awesome.
Quick, ask your parents where babies come from.
Did you watch the movie?
No, just seen that. I've just seen that clip.
Okay. You really need to watch the movie.
Yeah, I do.
Let's talk about Gail's writing. Because, like, what I wrote here, Gail's mixture of humor, humanity, and a sprinkle of horny. She always has, like, sex jokes and things like that, but she doesn't do them at the point, like you said, they're not at anyone, and they're not, for the most part, they're not usually uncomfortable. Like, she just doesn't because that's how people are. Like, these characters are, this whole story is a little bit just horny in general. But there is, like, that is broken up by these really sincere, wholesome moments. So when they're fighting, Ralph and is it Scandal he's fighting? I think it's Scandal.
It is Scandal.
A vase like starts to fall and he grabs and says, "Wait, hold on. My wife made me this. I don't want it to break." And he puts it back and she doesn't continue fighting. She's like, "Oh, that was really romantic. Like, let me let you put that back." Like there's these, they're not like, no one does these character beats like Gale. There's something about her character beats that are weird, but they're so like they're not, I guess they would be relatable. Like you are like, wow, these characters are human. They're doing things that are very not typical storytelling things. And they work very well. That's why I've always really loved her work. Like even with Birds of Prey, like there's a lot of, like it's just like
and then
sexy,
and then her Twitter is
sexy writing.
Yeah,
and her Twitter is an absolute
different beast. Different beast.
She just likes stirring pot. Like she doesn't stir pots to be bad. Like she doesn't ever hurt anybody. She says funny things. The theme of microwaving her tea and just like things like that. She's just a funny person. She's also was a hairdresser, which is also very interesting. She's just one of those people I've always really admired in comics.
I didn't know she was a hairdresser.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, she is, I love Gail a lot. And, like, she's one of the people that I would love to get on the show just because I want to talk to her and get, like, her insights on stuff. Because all of the series I've read by her are very, there's no one writes like Gail Simone. And I'll go on record saying that. Like, she has a very unique voice. And it's hard to put all this into words because I really do love her. So like getting to fully encapsulate my thoughts and feelings on it won't be something I can do on the fly. Just love Gail Simone a lot.
She's great. All right. So the last note I have is reusing the Mockingbird code name, which was originally used by Lex Luthor when Alexander Luthor was masquerading as him during the lead up to Infinite Crisis. And this is actually how Lex formed the Secret Six.
Now that you mentioned Infinite Crisis, I feel like that's the one really good Joker bit that's happened in a long time where Joker isn't involved in all of it. And at the end, he sprays him with acid and is like, should have invited me to your gang.
Yeah, no, Joker is one of those characters that people, like have
He
lashed.
doesn't need to be dark. He doesn't need to be.
I remember hearing about the backlash of Grant Morrison making him dark because it hadn't really been done, and now it's the only thing people do. I mean, there was a reason why he got dark in that. He got shot in the head by a man dressed as Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. Joker, there's so many better Batman villains they can use.
Yeah, no. The problem with Joker is if you can't say, where's the joke, and point out where the joke is, don't use him.
Yeah. And I think he's used too much, so I think we need a break. But that's all.
Actually, no, the last time I think I can think of that was a good Joker bit was when Tom King used him for Batman. Because
when he was the priest?
Sorta. I mean, I'm thinking more of the time where Joker stops Batman from killing Riddler. And was like, oh, that's funny.
He shouldn't have stopped them.
No, he shouldn't have. This book kind of makes that clear.
Yeah, we could forgive Batman for that, couldn't we? If you just killed one person, like if just one person, it's just the Riddler. Although as much as I don't care for the Riddler in Harley Quinn is excellent because it is Dean Pelton, and at one point he is the dean of Riddler University, so he does become the dean again.
I am the dean, and my hands are so clean.
And now I am stapling. So yeah, that is all we got. So, Jake, what are you doing? Like, what have you been reading, watching, playing?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Same. I've been playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. It's great.
Oh, it's a lot of really fun. Good. I mean, a lot of the reviews have been kind of mixed about it, but like, I feel like a lot of them are just angry that it didn't just reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, it just does it well.
It does open world really well.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, I'm not a collector in games, but like I find myself just seeing a question mark on the map and going to it because I do enjoy just like riding around on a horse and like seeing all the pretty stuff and swinging my sword.
I mean, I told you what I did when I mean, there's fox shrines and you have to follow little foxes to get for charms.
Yeah, but you can pet them too.
Yeah, but you have to go to the thing to get to pet them. So, I mean, I was wearing bright blue armor and I was rolling after it saying, all right, Tails, show me where it's at. Show me where it's at. Chili dogs, chili dogs.
What else? I'm reading. What am I reading? I just got a copy of Faith Taking Flight by Julie Murphy. Julie Murphy wrote a book called Dumplin', which is about a fat teenager who's like dealing with all that, and it's got a lot of Dolly Parton stuff in it. They made a movie which is really good, but Faith is based on the fat superhero from Valiant, so I'm actually pretty excited to read that.
Right. I've seen stuff on Facebook about that.
Yeah, I've got I have a lot of Valiant stuff I have to be reading because I've got I'm doing like a beginner's guide to Valiant for CBR. It's just like I want to write it really well because these books are really good. Like I'm really enjoying them. And Tim Seeley writes Blood. I always want to say Bloodsport, but that's not his name. Bloodshot. I keep saying Bloodsport, but that's not a character.
I mean, do you prefer your Bloodshot Vin Diesel or Jason David Frank?
You know how much I love Jason David Frank, or did love him before social media. I like Tommy. I don't really care about Jason David Frank.
Yeah.
And Power Rangers, like that is something you need to read because it is really good.
I have the first arc in comics.
Faith Taking Flight is what I have to read this week. I also have another Star Wars book they sent me. I'm gonna read. It's so cool getting to read all this stuff. But that's all I've got. You can find us on Twitter at DC Super Sons. You can find us on Instagram at Super Sons Pod. And you can find me on social media at Dan the McMahon.
And you can find me on Jake Likes Otters on Twitter.
Yeah. Catch us in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel.